Good evening, friends. Wolfie Rankin here. I've just watched a wonderful documentary on an Australian music show called Countdown. It's called Countdown, Do Yourself a Favour. Now, I think that some of you overseas really have to watch this program because it was really good. Countdown was a program that started because the youth of the day really didn't have anything to watch. And the kids were kind of complaining. They were saying, we've got nothing to watch. We're bored. There's stuff for little kids and there's stuff for 20, 30 somethings, but there's nothing for us. Can you fix it up so that we've got something to watch, something that will interest us? And they put their heads together and they said, yeah, we can do something about that. And the idea was, maybe we could have bands come into a studio and perform live. And, that was a pretty good idea. And the thing was about it too was that Australian television had just gone from black and white to colour. So suddenly you had all these amazing acts coming on to perform, and people hadn't seen them before, and it was all live and in color. Yes, the program was completely live, and it just changed our generation. It was very important to us. I was a little bit of a late comer, I suppose. I wasn't quite a teenager when Countdown was really humming along. But I really did enjoy it when I was a kid. It was something that I really looked forward to, and I was always interested in music, even from a toddler. So yeah, I really dug it in a big way. Now Molly would often, he'd do this trademark thing, and this is where it sort of came from. He'd sort of go, "Do yourself a favour and get this record," except it was vinyl in those days, of course. Now, the thing was about Countdown is it broke a lot of bands, not only here in Australia, but around the world. One of the surprising things was, and I didn't know this, but Molly Meldrum actually broke ABBA worldwide. You see, ABBA was sort of going to be a Eurovision one-hit wonder group, and they were going to disappear again, probably. But Molly started to think, hey, ABBA's really good. Maybe we can play some of their clips and, get them to come out and so forth. And apparently Countdown made Australia realise how good ABBA was. And ABBA was a massive group here in Australia. But then the US and Europe actually sort of looked at this and, they're playing a lot of ABBA. What's going on here? And they caught on as well. So amazing. I had no idea. But they did break a lot of groups, and they had a lot of international groups here. And international groups such as KISS realised that they had to be on Countdown. It was one of the things that you did. If you came to Australia to perform in any way, you had to be on Countdown. Look, I don't know how you're going to get to see this film, and it's a two-parter, I think, or it could even be a three-parter. They've just done the 70s tonight. They're going to do the 80s next week. If you've got, I'm not really supposed to say, but torrents might be a good friend for you in this circumstance, or VPNs. VPN would be good because we've got a thing called iView over here, and you can connect to that and you can watch things straight away. That might work if you've got one. But really, seriously, even if you don't know what Countdown is, even if you've never come across it before, you people are music fans, right? You've got to look at this documentary and go, and see it for what it is. It's a big slice of the music industry at that time, or what was happening with music at that time, not just affecting Australia, but the world as well. Wonderful thing to see. And it was all very seat of your pants stuff. I mean, nobody had really done anything like this before. I suppose you could compare it to Top of the Pops, but I don't know. I think Countdown was more outrageous and strange than anything that had been on TV before. I don't think you'd see anything like it again. It was just too loose. It was just completely loose, just kind of fire up the cameras and go for it. And I think that's what made Countdown very special. And it was on in every household in Australia, any household that had kids generally, certainly on in our place. So do yourself a big favor and see if you can get hold of this. Hopefully, it will turn up on YouTube at some point in the future and you can have a look at this. Wonderful stuff. So just keep that in mind that it's out there. You'll also see Cold Chisel on, and you'll see Skyhooks and lots of people and commenting on the times. Elton John was one of the people who were regularly on. Susie Quattro was a regular there. She loved Countdown. It was very, very helpful to her career. Look, I could just rave on about this for a long time, but really, seriously, if you miss out on this doco, you're missing out on a big slice of what was happening musically in those times. And I know a lot of you love the bands from the 70s and 80s, as I do, and I'm really waiting to see what happens next week, because that's really my era, the 80s. And I remember what was on Countdown back then. But I'm just hopefully, I just really hoping to see something that sort of makes me go, oh yeah, I remember that. So anyway, that's my little report, my rather excited little report for you at the moment. Countdown, do yourself a favor. Look for it and get it if you can, because you'll love it, I'm sure. Bye.